Welcome to Hawk Talk. Graham Nash and Giovanni Culotta diamond side after Hyannis ties Harwich on the road. Before we begin our discussion, Gio, you were able to catch up with Mitch Karraker.
Thanks, Graham. Giovanni Culotta with manager Mitch Karraker after a thrilling 2-2 tie here at White House Field. Back-to-back games have been in the final frames, decided in the late innings. What's been the deciding factor in these final frames here tonight?
Man, it's a couple pitches either way. I mean, we had, Brody had a really good swing on a ball that the shortstop made an unbelievable play on. We had bases loaded and one out, and Federico just had a tough at-bat, and then we just couldn't get a two-out hit. And, they put one really good swing on a ball, and, that's the ball game. So, a lot of positives, I thought, overall tonight. Obviously we're going to look back at some of those things like, man, if this could have happened or that could have happened, we could have pulled out a win, but that's all right.
Let's stick with those positives, Coach. Your pitching staff fanned 18 batters for a new season high. Have you ever seen a game with that many strikeouts?
Not very many, that's for sure. They were tremendous. I mean, Thomas to Tyler to Griffin to Coop there in that last inning. I mean, those are tough situations to come into, and I thought all of them did a really good job of commanding the strike zone. Brody Briggs got the heck out of the game, called a really good game for us tonight. So our battery tonight was exceptional. Offensively, we just got to find a way to score more runs than the other team.
To keep with the pitching, what are some of those decisions that you see from them late in innings that is helping them in this situation?
Yeah, it's not really decisions. It's really just conviction with their pitches. I mean, I talked about it with the radio guys a little bit. For Tyler specifically, the growth that he's had from outing to outing has been great, and hopefully we can continue to see that growth out of our entire staff. But today it was strike one, strike two. We didn't walk very many guys, and our stuff was really good tonight.
You got Katuitt at home tomorrow trying to get back in the win column. How do you move forward after this week?
Yeah, I think just build on the positives. I think our guys feel really good about the effort we put forth today. Obviously disappointed we came up a little bit short, but just trying to take those positives and run with it.
Thanks. Back to you, Graham.
Gio, first things first, the strikeouts, an unbelievable number, and Mitch Karraker, a little bit in disbelief himself.
He said he hadn't had many games with 18 strikeouts. I don't know the last time I've seen 18 strikeouts in a game. It certainly didn't feel that way. And that's not to discredit the Harbor Hawks' great work atop the mound tonight, but in an 18 strikeout game, it feels like you're mowing down batters. You're getting them with fast pitches quickly. They had to work for their strikeouts tonight. A lot of three-ball counts for Thomas Crabtree, the starter, and for Griffin Graves, the setup man to Eddie Copper, who went out for the 10th, especially. But the way that they commanded the strike zone tonight, you heard Coach Karraker say, was the conviction of the pitches and not so much the decisions about where to throw them that transcended this game for Hyannis tonight.
In those 9th and 10th innings, there were a lot of moans from the crowd right behind home plate. This game really did come down to a couple calls, and it could have totally shaded one way or the other.
And that's exactly what you're going to see in pitchers' duels like this. That every single decision comes under a microscope and is amplified beyond compare because they mean so much more in a 2-2 game. That's the essence of baseball, Graham. And I think what's so interesting to hear from Coach Karraker's comments is that one or two decisions, especially in those late frames, could have tipped the scales either way. Now that's back-to-back games where that's been the case, with the walk-off unfortunately tagging the Harbor Hawks for the loss at YD. But here tonight, they're able to scrape away with the tie because of those 18 strikeouts, just weren't able to muster enough offensively.
Second tie of the season for Hyannis. The first one was at Chatham. Such a weird scenario, the tie, because they don't experience this in college ball. So what kind of takeaways do you think you can take from a tie where you were leading pretty much the whole game?
It's a pros and cons list almost, Graham, because you have the positives, and tonight for Mitch Karraker, we've talked about it ad nauseum because it's so otherworldly, the 18 strikeouts. But on the flip side, too many free passes dished out. They didn't work a single walk on offense and just weren't able to get enough going. We've seen Hyannis in games where it's scored a lot of runs. You see last Friday against Orleans, you score 11. That's because you have 5 walks at the plate. And those are rally starters. Without some of those free passes being the benefactor of errors and hit batsmen, not able to get going, not able to change the plate approach to the extent that it would get something going, and that plagued Hyannis tonight despite the otherworldly pitching performance.
Hyannis back at McKeon Park tomorrow. They host Katuitt, a team that they took down on the road earlier in June, so it should be a fun one back at McKeon Park. We hope to see you there.